And right now, very pleased to have with us Richard Mourdock, the state treasurer in Indiana, running in the Republican primary against the incumbent Dick Lugar, the primary coming up on May the 8th. And Treasurer Mourdock, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program tonight.
Well, thank you, Cam. Great to be with you. And, with just a few more days till primary day, the schedule is jam-packed. And sorry I wasn't with you a little bit earlier tonight.
That's all right. We appreciate your time, sir. I know that you're really busy. Let's start, actually, by talking about a new poll out. I know that, in campaigns, you can't look at one individual poll as the gospel truth, but this does, I think, continue a trend. This poll shows you up by 5 points over Dick Lugar right now. Mourdock 44, Lugar 39. I'm looking at that in the Weekly Standard coming out this morning. What do you think right now about how the state of the race is going?
Well, we've been pleased. We've sensed momentum building for some time. We announced our campaign in February of last year, and we've been slugging away here for many, many months. And a week ago yesterday, for the first time, a poll showed us in the lead. And now we've opened that lead up to 5 points against a 36-year incumbent, which is a remarkable thing. So we're looking forward. We take nothing for granted. We keep leaning. But you're right, no one poll means much, but we've got two that are at least now defining a line. So that's a good thing. We're headed the right direction.
Absolutely. And you talk about the incumbency of your opponent. You, however, have been endorsed by the National Rifle Association, the Club for Growth. You've gotten a lot of support from Tea Party groups in the state of Indiana. Let's start specifically with the NRA Political Victory Fund's endorsement of your candidacy.
Well, we're thrilled to have that. The NRA very, very seldom gets involved in primaries. And this is a Republican primary. And as Chris Cox said in a teleconference when he announced that they were going to come in the race and be on our side, he made the comment that Dick Lugar's lifetime F rating with the NRA came about the old-fashioned way. He earned it. And Mr. Lugar has certainly over many years been not a friend to the Second Amendment. He's been endorsed by people like Michael Bloomberg and others who have also been very harsh on gun owners' rights. And clearly the NRA saw that trend in his long-standing record, and they see that I'm quite the opposite as an NRA member and one who loved to get in the field when I was younger and loved to hunt and been around firearms my whole life, and we were proud to receive their endorsement.
And, Indiana, I think, is not just a state that is friendly to gun owners in terms of the laws that are on the books, but there are a lot of gun owners in the state of Indiana who are active voters. How important do you think they're going to be on primary day?
Well, that's huge because I know the NRA said there were something like 80,000 households that were members of the NRA here in Indiana. The Gun Owners of America have also endorsed me, and they've got quite a large group here. So, Indiana is a very rural state, and we just are a very conservative state. So we know their impact, the NRA's impact, is going to be huge for us.
When it comes to the some of the issues that are out there, I know that, for instance, we've seen in the Senate right now, we've got two national right to carry reciprocity bills. One of these bills, the House version, cleared the House with 275 votes. Indiana is one of those states that has universal recognition of out-of-state permits, and so in essence, right to carry reciprocity it already exists in Indiana. Has it caused any problems for the state of Indiana? Is that something that you would support on a national level?
It is absolutely something I would support, and this is almost comical, Cam, but when the reciprocity bill was presented about a month ago, Mr. Lugar has had this lifetime rating of an F, suddenly jumped on as a co-sponsor, and we were all stunned by it, and 48 hours later he withdrew his name and said he wouldn't be supporting it. So it kind of reflects the chaos his campaign has been in. But, yeah, it is certainly something we support. And what happened a few months ago now with the a fellow from Colorado who volunteered his weapon in New York and was immediately arrested for having it there, just demonstrates the need why such a reciprocity bill only makes good sense.
Are you hearing about issues like that from the voters as you go around the state of Indiana?
Probably not as much as other states just because we do have the reciprocity here, but I certainly hear from NRA members. They may not be speaking about a specific issue that is up legislatively right now, but they do greatly appreciate my position, and they certainly understand where Mr. Lugar's been. The fact that the NRA has been so actively involved, and they've put out some mailers, and I understand they're doing some TV commercials as well, that's big talk here because folks here have never seen the NRA do that in this state. And again, it's a very rare thing for them to do it.
Well, absolutely. But again, I think it shows what is at stake. We have the UN be meeting in July on an arms trade treaty. They're going to want to send that treaty. I know President Obama is going to want to send that treaty to the Senate for ratification. And you know, there are a lot of issues for gun owners that are going to be coming up in the Senate that are going to be affecting every one of Indiana's gun owners and NRA members.
That's exactly right. And as I often talk to the Second Amendment folks here, as important as that issue is to them in this state, and they have every right to think it a great one, I often use it as a point that it is just another example of what the Obama administration and what the more liberal people in government see of their constitutional rights. They don't see them as being that important, and I really suspect that if there would be a serious move on the Second Amendment, then they're going to easily find a way to just keep broadening their reach and broadening their reach. Though it might not seem a likely issue that you'd talk about on your show and with your listeners, but the health care bill, when that came up a few weeks ago with the mandate that Catholic churches and Catholic hospitals be required to provide abortion services to their people, there was a silver lining to it in the sense that it finally people started to realize Obamacare is about much more than health care. It's about getting in every aspect of your life.
Absolutely.
And if the Second Amendment is thrown away, it's going to be another way for them to get in your life. So it's all those issues we have to be very much on guard for.
Well, you know, and I think that when you talk about, and I think you're absolutely right, it's not just a Second Amendment issue. It's not just an Obamacare issue. You can look at the attempt yesterday. We saw the Department of Labor proposing these rules that would have required, teenagers who were working in agriculture to undergo 90 hours of federal government training before they, started helping out with farm chores. There is, I think, this sense that the Obama administration and those within the Obama administration really don't believe that we are capable of running our day-to-day lives without their intervention and without their help.
That is exactly right. I mean, they are big government elitists. And one of the reasons I'm doing this, and I find this fascinating, just seeing where we are as a country right now, but I often tell Republican crowds as I go across the state, I'm more frustrated with Republicans than I am Democrats. Because the very issues you and I are talking about, and certainly that your listeners care about, I don't hear enough Republicans talking about them. I don't hear the Republicans talking about why limited government is a good thing, why rolling the size of government back and that positive effect on the economy. I don't hear them saying why that would be a good thing. I happen to be 60 years old, and I'll tell you, it's a beautiful thing to run for an office I don't have to have, and to know that if I have the privilege of serving, I'm going to get to make the hard decisions and really make a statement as far as what the Republican Party should be in the United States Senate, which is that party that rolls back government.
I wonder, and I think that you're onto something there, that we don't hear a lot of talk about this, and I wonder if for a lot of conservatives it is a self-evident truth, so to speak. And so we think, well, why would we have to explain this? Why would we have to engage with people about this? But, a lot of people don't get the free market, limited government message anymore. They may not have ever heard a passioned and reasoned argument as to why this works better than what's being proposed or what's being implemented by the Obama administration.
And I'm going to be perhaps a bit more cynical. I don't think it's about the fact they've forgotten or take for granted that it's a self-evident truth. I think it's more that, frankly, they're tired of being beaten up. They're tired of going to a more liberal news network and being beaten up. They're tired of going to the unfriendly crowds back at home and maybe being attacked. And I can only say to those opportunities, bring them, bring it on, because to me, the high point of this political process for me is to inflict my opinion upon others from a microphone. And I don't mean that to sound like I'm a wild-eyed kind of person. I'm not. I just sincerely, absolutely, and totally believe in the things that have driven me into this process. Ronald Reagan did an amazing thing in 8 years, because not one day during his 8 years did he have a Republican-controlled House of Representatives. And yet he got a lot of good things done because he would go around the media, he would go around the Congress and speak directly to the American people. He did it with a sense of optimism and vision, and it caused those people to cause their congressmen to get behind Reagan, even though there were Democrats doing so. That's the kind of conservatives we need today, speaking vocally to the American people about the values of conservatism.
Talking with Richard Mourdock, Indiana State Treasurer and a Republican nominee for U.S. Senate. The primary in Indiana is May the 8th, and Mr. Mourdock, what can supporters do for you between now and primary day?
Well, I'll tell you, Cam, with us now in the lead in this race, we are getting absolutely savagely beaten up on TV, and we need the help of conservatives and certainly Second Amendment folks from all over this country. Our website is richardmourdock.com, and Mourdock has an unusual spelling. It's Mourdock, but richardmourdock.com. If folks would check us out, go there. If they can donate $10, $15, $50, we would greatly appreciate it, because Mr. Lugar has only one thing in this race that we don't have, and that is a lot of money. Still, we have managed to take the lead, but he's trying to destroy us on TV right now, and we need to put out a pro-growth, small government message here in the next 11 days.
All right. Well, listen, thank you again, sir, for coming on the program tonight. We appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll be able to talk again soon.
I would look forward to it. Thank you very much, Cam. Good to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Richard Mourdock joining us tonight from the Hoosier State.